So we have a few options. I tend to think of it in a multi-phase thing. I have a short-term solution or a short-term alternative to Nation Builder and a long-term alternative to Nation Builder. On the short term is Action Network, right? Illinois is transferring our databases from Nation Builder to Action Network right now. We pay over $300 a month for Nation Builder. We're going to be paying about a little over $100 a month once you take in web hosting for Action Network. So we're going to see huge savings. It's way more user friendly than Nation Builder, which is good because, you know, a key part of having these lists is having on the ground organizers regularly engaging with the lists, going in and talking to people, having one-on-ones, doing canvassing, having conversations that are what you need to do to build the party, right? The list isn't any good if it's just sitting on a server somewhere. You need to be using the lists, and for our activists and organizers to use the lists, they need to be accessible. They need to be user friendly. And I'm very happy with Action Network for that. It does our database and list management. It does our email blasts. It does fundraising for us, actions, petitions, all that kind of stuff. It has a WordPress plugin that's really, really nice. Anything I create on Action Network can be easily ported over and via shortcode into my WordPress site, look all nice and be formatable. So short term, it saves us money. It allows it's a more user-friendly system that allows us to start developing the party culture that we need, where we are utilizing our databases on a daily basis, right? Where our organizers are talking to people, are making notes, are doing the grunt work and the putting feet to the pavement, or in social media cases, just having engaging in real conversations that bring people in. I didn't mention the social media earlier, but social media is absolutely useless to us as a party if we don't have on the ground locals for them to get involved in, right? A Twitter doesn't vote. Yard signs don't vote. Twitter retweets don't vote. Facebook likes don't vote. The key for us and why it's an organizing question is turning those likes, is turning those retweets into real relationships in the physical world that can help us build the party. And a really key part to us doing that in a systematic and organized way is using a database tool like Action Network. You can use whatever. If your state is already using Nation Builder and you're in a local party, do you have access? If you don't, you need to get it, right? You need to learn how to use the system that you have. No matter what system we're using, the database is useless if we're not using it to talk to people, right? Systems are there to provide a foundation on which we can build our organizing, and we have to keep that as our central, focus when we're building systems. How does this help us organize? Does it make it more efficient? Does it make it easier to contact people? Is it more user friendly so people will actually engage? And we need to make sure that our members know, being part of the Democratic Party, Republican Party, being part of a corporate capitalist party means that you just vote. That's what you do. That's what your membership is involved in. But being a member in a grassroots party means putting in the work, right? It means getting out there and advocating for the party, organizing and growing the party and contributing, right? Grassroots parties aren't made up of voters. They're made up of organizers, and we need way more organizers. So that's the short term, right? And pricing and stuff with Action Network, like I said, I think a Green Party local could probably get by on their free version, could definitely get by on their $10 a month version. The $100 a month version is for a hierarchical network, which means you have your state. For Illinois, we have our state organization, and then all of our chapters lined out below. And when someone signs up with a chapter, their information gets sent up to the state too. So we have a collective database with a parent and then a child organizations. And so to get that feature, you have to jump to $100 a month, and $100 a month is cheaper than what most people are paying for Nation Builder. Probably, if they're paying for something, and is relatively reasonable for a user-friendly and pretty wide-ranging database option. Long term, right? Long term. Oh, I forgot to say what not to use. Don't use the van. The van is the Democratic Party's database system. It's their walk sheet system, canvassing system, that kind of stuff. The problem with using the van, and I have seen local Green parties and Green Party candidates using it, is that who owns that data in the end is the Democratic Party. If you don't, it's like Act Blue. If you use them for a fundraiser, if somebody donates to you, a Green, and you're using Act Blue, the Democratic Party now has all their information, right? It's their fundraising system. So Act Blue and the van are things we need, as independent socialists and independent organizers, we need to stay away from, because they own the data. With Action Network, they're a not-for-profit, and we own our data. Our organization owns our data. They can't use it for anything.